Hello, everybody. If you're watching this video, you are in my English 2 class. You're either in cohort B, so you're working from home, or you are working asynchronously for the rest of the 6 weeks or the semester. So you're in my second period, my third period, my fifth, or my eighth. So this video is for today's lesson. So hopefully you have started on your sorry. Hopefully you've started on your short stories by now. If you have not, or you're like, what is she talking about? I'll explain that kind of near the end, but I'm going to jump into the lesson right now, and then I'll go over that in a while. So today we are going to be going over drama. So we've gone over poetry, we went over literary narrative nonfiction, and now we are going to go over drama. While drama is not going to be on the STAR test, more than likely there will be some questions asked over it for your Unit 2 test. I haven't seen what the test looks like yet, but there's a good possibility. Also, there are some elements, there are some terms that you will learn that will show up again, not in other things that we do in my class, not even my class, and probably your future English classes as well. So these are the things I'm going to be going over today. So hopefully this is in Edpuzzle fashion. And so there will be a few questions I ask you throughout the video, like 2 or 3, not anything big, just to make sure that you understand what's going on. All right, so the first thing I'm gonna have y'all do is watch this video. At the end of the video, I'm going to have y'all answer a question. So it's not too long, but I want y'all to watch the whole thing. So let me get this started.
What do horror movies and comedies have in common? The two genres might seem totally different, but the reason they're both so popular is perhaps because of what they have in common: their use of dramatic irony. First, let's clarify. There are 3 types of irony out there. Situational irony is when you expect one thing but get the opposite. Verbal irony is when someone says something but truly means the opposite. Dramatic irony, though, is what we'll be looking at right now. Dramatic irony is when the audience seems to know more about an event, a situation, or a conversation than the characters in the movie, on the show, or in the book do. The audience is in on a secret that the characters have missed. This is a great storytelling device that creates tremendous emotion within that text. Think about it for a moment. How does it feel when, in a horror film, you know that the scary villain is hiding behind that door in the darkened room? The music becomes eerie. The lighting creates complete shadows. This has to be bad for the hero. Of course, though, that hero must enter the room to find the villain. You feel tremendous tension and the suspense of knowing that someone will jump out and be scary, but you just don't know when. That tension is dramatic irony. You know something more than the characters in the film. Now, take the typical comedy. There will probably be some type of misunderstanding. Again, we know more of what is going on than the characters do. Picture 2 characters making a plan for a birthday surprise for their roommate, while that roommate overhears the entire conversation from the hallway. From there, confusion and misunderstanding occur, and the tension builds. But this isn't the same tension as the horror film, since it is probably pretty funny, as the characters try to figure out the who's and the what's. But it serves as a great example of the tension and suspense of dramatic irony. This tension or suspense in both genres drives the story and keeps the plot progressing. The audience wants, no, needs, to see the tension of the dramatic irony broken, either by the scary person jumping out of the shadows, or by someone finally revealing someone's true identity and clearing up the confusion. So when you feel like you are in on a secret, that is dramatic irony, a hallmark of all the great writers, from Shakespeare to Hitchcock.
All right, so hopefully a question popped up that you answered based on the video. All All right, so dramatic irony is just one type of thing that a lot of playwrights, people that write dramas do, but you also see it a lot in movies and also in other books and stories as well. And it would be an interesting thing if you're still continuing to write your short story, this could be something that you use in your own story. So what is drama? I won't spend too long on this, but there are a few things I would like to go over with y'all. So drama, so before we actually get into it, we did go over a lot of stuff with drama last year. We did actually get to read a play. So I just want to know, what do you remember from last year about drama? Do you remember dramatic irony, what we just talked about? Do you remember anything else? Any other terms? Do you remember about the play that we read and what it was about? And just tell me what you remember about drama and plays from last year. So hopefully you responded to the question that popped up. So drama it comes from the Greek word action. It's written to be performed by actors and watched by an audience. A lot of times in English class, we just read it. We see the dialogue and all that stuff. But plays are written to be performed, to be put on a stage, for there to be actors and for them to actually act everything out. In a drama, there are two types of writing you're going to see. So you're going to see the dialogue that the characters speak, and you'll always see, the name of the person and then what they're saying. And then you'll also see the stage directions, and that I'll go over a little bit more of that in a bit and what that looks like. And the dramas can be presented in two ways. One is in literature where we read it, and then the other is, the performance. It's actually acted out in front of an audience. So there are two types of dramas. There's tragedies. These are the ones that usually at the end, a lot of people die, and the ends are rather sad. It shows the downfall or death of a tragic hero, the main character, and so they are trying to do something, and because of some type of flaw within themselves or a flaw that's around them, they end up not succeeding or and dying because of that. And in comedies, so the other types of drama are comedies, and those are a lot more happier. They're obviously funny, and they usually do have happy endings, and a lot of them show like conflicts between age groups, between genders, between personality types. There's usually a lot of romance in there. There's some romance in tragedies, but in comedies, it's a happy ending. And so, two examples of tragedies. So as the video mentioned, one of the biggest playwrights of our time is William Shakespeare. He wrote so many plays. A lot of them are still taught in high schools today. A lot of them are still acted out around the world. A lot of them are modernized and made into, either authors rewrite it and make it like modern, like in today's world. Some people make them into movies. Some people, they're like TV episodes or storylines that involve these plays. And I'm going to show you some examples. So two of Shakespeare's tragedies are Hamlet and Romeo and Juliet. Hamlet is, all y'all know about Romeo and Juliet, but Hamlet is about a prince whose father, the king, has died, and the ghost of his father comes to him and says, hey, like, this is, the person that killed me is your uncle, and you need to avenge me. And he's like, gotcha. So he tries to avenge him. And so hopefully at some point in your lifetime, you've seen The Lion King. And if not, it's very sad. I'm sorry for you. But that's actually my dryer, sorry. But The Lion King is, if you know the story, you have Simba, who's a young prince, and then his father is, the king, Mufasa. And his father dies because of his uncle, Scar. And, Simba finds out, the ghost of his father, in the clouds comes back and is like, you remember who you are, and blah, blah, blah. And Simba goes and defeats his uncle. And that's what happens in the play. Whereas in Hamlet dies, spoiler alert. The Lion King, obviously it's a Disney movie, so that's probably not going to happen. And then West Side Story is about two different, gangs they're opposing sides. but two people from either side fall in love, and that's what happens in Romeo and Juliet. Except with Romeo and Juliet, it's two families instead of gangs. And then, oh, hold on, sorry, go back. Two examples of comedies. Twelfth Night by Shakespeare is about a young girl who decides that she disguises herself as a man, and accidentally gets involved in this kind of like love triangle thing where she likes this one guy, but the guy likes a girl, but the girl likes her, you know, disguise thinking that she's a guy. It's really weird. But that's 12th Night, and then all hijinks happen. And then The Taming of the Shrew is a young woman she's like a wild child kind of, and you know, a man tries to come in and, you know, tame her, I guess. And so these movies were more in my time, probably not y'all's, but the movie, if you've ever seen She's the Man, Amanda Bynes' character takes her brother's place, and that's what actually happens in the play as well. In the play, Olivia, it's the same names as well. Olivia's brother supposedly dies at sea, and so she takes his place as like a not a soldier, something like that. And in the movie, you know, Olivia's brother, Amanda Bynes' character, her brother, you know, he's like, he went off and, you know, he's like, hey, take my place in school as, you know, at this school. And so she disguises herself as her brother and goes, and, you know, she falls in love with Channing Tatum's character, but then he loves somebody else, and that character falls in love with Amanda Bynes' character dressed as a guy, and it's all hijinks ensue. And so that is, I mean, 12th Night, this movie was based off of that play. And then 10 Things I Hate About You, you have the character, she's a bit of a wild child, and, you know, a guy decides to try to, you know, get with her and be like, you know, hey, I can tame her. And so that is how, you know, 10 Things I Hate About You is based off of The Taming of the Shrew. So, I know that has gone now. These are some terms, you've probably seen them before. I'll be really quick. A monologue, if you remember, is the speech or verbal presentation given by a single character in order to express his or her collection of thoughts and ideas out loud. So this is when a character in a play they have like a really long speech, and most of the time it's them talking to somebody else or to like a group of people, or the audience. And so they're just, you know, oh, they have this long speech. An example, I won't show you the video because I don't want to take too long, but the video, if you've ever seen The Incredibles, when the bad guy Syndrome, he captures Mr. Incredible, and, you know, Mr. Incredible realizes, hey, you know, it's Buddy, you know, that kid, now he's a bad guy. Syndrome goes on this long rant about, you know, now, you know, you're not going to think little of me now because I've got all this power and all this, you know, all these electronics. Like, that is a monologue. That whole speech he has is a monologue. And then a soliloquy is very similar to a monologue, except it's almost as if the character is just talking to themselves out loud. They're not talking to a person, they're not talking to the audience, they're talking to themselves. But it's like they're, you know, when we talk to ourselves in our head, it's just that, but out loud. And so, you know, it means of expressing a character's thoughts about a certain character while talking to himself without acknowledging the presence of any other person. He's just talking to himself. He's just in here like, wow, you know, I'm really sad today. You know, I wasn't able to go to get food. I was kind of stuck inside all day. I'm just so lazy. Like that, like, you know, we talk to ourselves. That is what a soliloquy is. I wasn't in that moment, I wasn't talking to somebody or to y'all. I was just talking to myself. So that's a soliloquy. And the example is just from, there's not really, you don't see a lot of soliloquies in like movies and stuff. So this was just a scene from one of the plays, Hamlet, just of a soliloquy. This presentation will be on Schoology, so if you do want to go in and watch some of these videos again, you are more than welcome to do so. And then stage directions are instructions in the script of a play directing the movements of the actors, the arrangement of the scenery. So if you've read a play, sorry, and see this like italicized font, that is the stage direction. So it tells you the setting, the football club locker room, The locker room is dark and empty. The main lights are switched on. Old John and Tony enter stage right. Old John is walking with the help of a cane. And then there's their dialogue, and then Old John sits on a bench. I don't recognize anything anymore. And then here, Brian enters stage left. Brian is wearing a tracksuit. Now, if we're just reading, well, if it's being performed, you're not going to hear anybody say, Old John's not going to say, sits on a bench. I don't recognize anything. No, he's actually going to be sitting, like he's going to sit down and then say, I don't recognize anything. These are just, those italicized parts, when they're performed, they're never spoken out loud. Everything, these are the movements, the state that these things are just happening, or you see them. And even when we read them in class, we don't really say, sits on a bench, I don't recognize. We just kind of read it in our head. We're like, okay, he sits on a bench. And then you actually say the dialogue. Tomorrow, we're actually going to go over, well, actually not y'all. It will be on Wednesday. We'll go over a section of a play, and I'll just show those things to y'all again, but now like in an actual play. And dramatic irony, once again, is when the audience knows something the characters don't. So the characters might get an unexpected outcome, but for the audience, it's not unexpected at all. So as you saw in that video earlier, the first scene, you know, you had the guy and the girl walking on the beach, and the guy was like attacked by what was like a shark or an octopus. And we see that and we're like, oh no, you know, there's a shark, you know, but she's completely oblivious. She doesn't know what's going on. That is dramatic irony. We know something, the audience sees something or knows something that's going on, the characters do not. Tomorrow we're actually going to go over a little bit more with dramatic irony. I'm going to show you a few scenes from movies, and you're going to tell me what is it that's dramatic irony. How is this an example of dramatic irony? Well, we will do that tomorrow. Or yeah, tomorrow I'll actually see you in class. We'll do this together. And that is it. So that is the lesson for the day. So really all you needed to do was just to watch the video and answer the questions that were embedded in the video. And that's it. Now, cohort 2, I will see you tomorrow. And we will, you know, you will have time. We'll go over a bit of dramatic irony again, and then you'll have time to work on your short story. Also, well, if you do, I mean, you probably have about 30 minutes left of class technically. If you would like to work on that a little bit, you're more than welcome to, just to catch up. If some of y'all are behind, I highly recommend that you do catch up. But if not, I mean, you'll be able to do it in class tomorrow. Now, my asynchronous group, I highly recommend that you work on it when you can. It's going to be really weird. So everything, unlike with my cohorts where I can work with them with the lesson and then I'll see them the next day, I won't be seeing y'all. And so please take the time to sit down and actually do your work and all that. And just a reminder, let me actually get out of this. I'm going to use English second period as an example. For those of y'all that have not started on drafting the story or writing the story or planning the story, to find that information, you will go to Unit 2, you will go to Week 3. If you go to 1013, you will see today's PowerPoint. That has kind of it was the introduction to what y'all are going to be doing with this story, what I'm expecting from y'all. There's nothing in 1015 anymore, but this is actually supposed to be in here. If you go to today's date, you're going to see the Halloween short story overview, which is your brainstorming area. That's where you're going to plan your story. And then the Halloween short story draft is where you're actually going to start typing and writing. So those working at home, please, if you have not done these things yet, please get them done before the end of the week. For my cohorts, if you want to catch up, if you've fallen behind, I mean, by now, hopefully you've actually started to write it, but if not, please plan, use the overview, and then start writing. But then I will see you tomorrow. You will have time to do it then as well. And at some point today or tomorrow, I will put in the PowerPoint that I just went over. I will put that in Schoology for you to see if there's anything you need to go back over. And that should be it. if any of y'all have any questions about the video, about the assignments, please let me know, and I will email me, message me in Schoology. I'll get to you when I can. If you would actually like to work one-on-one, if you would like me to work in real time instead of like this, work with you in real time, let me know. What I can do is I can schedule a Zoom maybe in the morning or during lunch or after school, and I can sit down with you in real time and we can go over some of this stuff together if you need that kind of help. That's mainly for my asynchronous, because I'm not going to see y'all, at least for the rest of if not the rest of the 6 weeks, the rest of the semester. So for y'all, please get with me if you need anything. For my cohorts, I will see you at some point throughout the week. So if it's not incredibly urgent, I'll see you tomorrow. So you can hold it until then, but if you need me, you can always let me know. If you're having trouble opening the Zoom, if you're having trouble opening the Edpuzzles, which, I mean, honestly, actually, I'm not even gonna say that, because if you're watching this, you didn't have trouble. But in the future, if you're having trouble opening these Edpuzzles again, I will put a link to just the video in Schoology, so that you can watch it that way as well. And if you know of anybody that's having trouble getting into this video the Edpuzzle way, let them know the video, just the video, is on Schoology, and they can watch it that way. I won't be able to, they won't be able to answer those questions, but they'll still be able to watch the video. If you have trouble opening your assignments, please let me know. I can get with you, I can send them to you. The attendance link will be put into Schoology like sometime during your period. So just make sure, actually, I don't even know if we're doing attendance links. Disregard that. And I think that's it. That's all I have to say. So that was today's lesson. Cohort 2, I will see you tomorrow. Asynchronous people, let me know if you have any questions. Tomorrow's lesson will be up in your period by tomorrow morning. Actually, for my asynchronous people, y'all might just be, I'll get with you, still learning this stuff, so I'll get with you if I think of something different. But right now, just check in on Tuesday for your next lesson. That's it. All right, have a great day, or great evening, or great morning, whenever you're watching this, and I will see you when I see you. Bye, y'all.